Now, today's agenda, certainly we'll talk about the What to Eat During Cancer Treatment cookbook itself, give you some background on it, and why eating well during cancer treatment is so important. We'll also talk about some side effects people undergoing cancer treatment may experience. Now, these are side effects that may have a negative impact on their eating, and we'll give you some recipe examples that are in our cookbook that can help patients deal with each of these side effects. At the American Cancer Society, we want to help people get well and stay well and create a world with more birthdays. And we'll talk about ways this cookbook can help do just that. Now, we're really excited about this cookbook because it was written by people who really know food, who really know nutrition, and who really know cancer patients. The book was written by Jeannie Besser, a food columnist and co-author of our best-selling Great American Eat Right cookbook, as well as a number of other cookbooks. And Jeannie was joined by 3 American Cancer Society certified oncology dietitians who have a lot of experience working with cancer patients, their caregivers, and other health professionals as well. We're really proud of this cookbook because we know it has a lot of quick and easy recipes that are both delicious and nutritious. And it also includes lots of tips and other information that we know will be really valuable for cancer patients. Now, the reason we wrote this cookbook is because good nutrition is so important during cancer treatment, but unfortunately, a lot of patients experience side effects that may affect their eating, and they may not be able to get the calories and nutrients we know they need as they go through treatment. So we wanted to offer patients and the people who care for them a resource to help them deal with these side effects. We wanted to provide recipes and suggestions that can help patients get the good nutrition they need, help manage side effects from treatment, and ultimately help them get well and stay well. Now here you can see a variety of side effects that cancer patients may experience: nausea, diarrhea, constipation, sore mouth and difficulty swallowing, taste alterations, and unintentional weight loss. Now, not everyone experiences these side effects, but these tend to be the most common side effects that have an impact on eating. Now, the real beauty of this cookbook is that recipes are organized by those side effects, so that, for example, if someone is experiencing unintentional weight loss, they can go right to that chapter and get recipes that are pretty high in calories. Now, if someone is nauseous, they'll want to eat foods that are relatively mild, relatively bland, like the brie and grilled apple cheese sandwich that you see here. Also, foods that can be eaten at room temperature or even cool seem to be better tolerated, so that you'll see other recipes in that chapter that don't have to be served hot. If someone is experiencing diarrhea, they'll want to be sure to replace fluids and electrolytes like sodium that may be lost. So a recipe like our chicken noodle soup can help, and plus, it's the ultimate comfort food. In this chapter, you'll also find recipes that have ingredients that are easy to digest and that may help thicken the stool, things like white rice and pasta, oatmeal, and some other ingredients. If someone is constipated, they'll want to gradually increase their fiber intake, and our honey yogurt parfait with dried fruit and granola is a great way to do that, and a really delicious way too, I might add. He or she might also feel full more quickly. So a number of recipes in this chapter, and actually throughout the book, are relatively small in portion size. Now, in this case, if somebody has sore mouth or is having trouble swallowing, it's really important to avoid real tart or acidic foods, and also to avoid rough textures, crunchy foods like crackers, pretzels, raw fruits, and vegetables. It's better to eat relatively soft foods that are easy to eat and swallow, like this pimento cheese recipe you see that we paired with a soft piece of bread. Now, chemo, radiation, and sometimes certain meds may change the way patients taste foods. If someone is experiencing taste alterations from therapy, recipes that have pretty strong flavors may taste better to them, like our Honey-Teriyaki salmon recipe. Other recipes in this chapter include ingredients with pretty strong flavors, things like feta, Parmesan cheese, onions, and garlic, and they also include suggestions on a variety of the recipes to add more spices to them to kind of up that flavor quotient, if you will. Now, many patients experience unintentional weight loss, and if that's the case, they really want to be sure they're eating calorically dense foods that provide a lot of calories and also a lot of nutrients too. And this crunchy peanut butter waffle sandwich with fresh fruit fits that bill, and it also tastes really good. All of the recipes in this chapter are a lot like that. They're really packed with calories and lots of nutrients. So you can see we organized the recipes by side effect, but the reality is many times patients experience more than one side effect at a time. So for example, while their main issue might be constipation, they might also be experiencing taste alterations. While the recipes are organized by side effect, they also each are flagged with colorful side effect icons, if you will, that indicate what other side effects the recipe might also be good for easy reference. In addition to all the recipes, we also have a lot of other important and useful information in the book, like tips for avoiding excess weight gain during treatment, tips for eating out, tips for food safety, which certainly is important for all of us, but it's especially important when people are undergoing cancer treatment, and much, much more. All of this information that we've provided is designed to help patients get well. One thing that's really important for cancer patients to think about is their life post-treatment. What can I do to help myself stay well? And we know that eating well helps all of us stay well. We really hope that people will continue to use this cookbook after treatment. The recipes really are easy to make. They taste great, they're nutritious, and they're good for the whole family and even company. I've actually made a number of these recipes myself when I've had family or friends over, and they've always been a big hit. The result is the ultimate comfort food cookbook that focuses on helping people with cancer get well and helping people stay well too. And ultimately, this is what it's all about. We want to help cancer patients get well, stay well, and create a world with more birthdays. We really appreciate you joining us, and we'll be taking your questions in just a moment. We encourage you to visit us after this webcast to receive great discounts on all ACS books and free shipping to all U.S. addresses. So don't forget the Q&A. You can post questions to our Q&A tab in the webcast or submit questions via Twitter at ACS News. So let's take our first question. You talked about tips in the cookbook. What are some other examples of information that you have in the cookbook? We really do have a lot of good information, both for patients themselves and for caregivers. We have ideas on what to stock in a kitchen, in your refrigerator, in your freezer, in your cupboards, so that you can throw healthy meals, healthy snacks together quickly. We have ideas for keeping a survival kit close by. Sometimes cancer patients just might not feel like getting up off the couch and going in the kitchen to get something to eat or drink. And so we have ideas for keeping healthy snacks, beverages right there close by in a cooler while you're on the couch or near your bed. We also have a lot of different other organizations and different resources for nutrition information and advice for the caregivers. It can be a really challenging time for caregivers as well. And so lots of information to help caregivers help the cancer patients that they're caring for. Okay, next question. What other tips are available in the cookbook that would benefit cancer patients? Lots of different ideas on the recipes themselves. Some of the, for example, with the recipes that fall in the nausea category, maybe you need something a little bland, you need something with not as much spice, but maybe you're constipated and need a little more fiber. So we have some suggestions on how you can add more fiber to recipes that maybe still might help benefit you from a nausea perspective. We also have some suggestions on how best you can talk to people caring for you, people who want to bring you food on a regular basis, and how you can talk to them in a delicate way if you're just not feeling well one day, or if maybe one day a particular food just doesn't sound very good to you. So our next question, these recipes sound delicious. Can I make these even though I'm not undergoing treatment? Well, I'll tell you, I really have made a number of these for my family and friends, and we're not undergoing treatment. Lots of them taste really good, and they're easy to make, and they're nutritious. And I'll tell you how I kind of tweaked one of the recipes to meet our own needs. I actually made the apple and brie grilled cheese sandwich that you saw on the slide earlier, and again, that's in the nausea chapter. It was kind of bland, so I actually added a little bit of prosciutto and some peppery arugula in there to kind of up that flavor quotient again. And so there's lots of different things you can do to enjoy those recipes and make those recipes as they are, even though you're not undergoing cancer treatment. Next question, I don't like brie. What other cheese can I substitute? Lots of other cheeses. Just about any cheese you like to eat, you could substitute. One that I think goes really, really well with that bread and with those apples is cheddar cheese. So any cheese you like really, really could be great for you. Next question. How will cancer patients find out about the book? Lots of different ways. We're doing lots of different promotions to cancer patients, to healthcare providers, to let them know the book is available. We have information on our website at cancer.org about the book, and we can also, if cancer patients are in bookstores, y'all can also find it in bookstores as well. Will this presentation be posted on cancer.org? Yes, we will be able to. You will be able to see this presentation on our website very soon. Next questions. Do you have recipes that are high in protein? We have a lot of recipes in the cookbook that are high in protein. Certainly protein, calorie, and lots of other types of nutrients, but protein and calorie especially is important when people are going through cancer treatment. So lots of recipes that are in there that are high protein, and each recipe has a nutrition analysis with it, so you can see exactly how many grams of protein are in the recipes. What side dishes can go with the salmon? Oh gosh, just about any. One of my favorite ones, there's a bulgur recipe in there that has dried fruit and toasted almonds in it. It goes fabulous with salmon. Next question. This is great. You got a lot of questions coming in. You mentioned that these recipes have the calories that patients need to stay healthy, but a caregiver may be hesitant to create high-calorie meals for the entire family. Within each, especially in the chapter of unintentional weight loss, again, lots of those recipes are fairly high in calories. So those recipes in particular might be recipes that might not be relevant for your whole family. But in that chapter, we have ideas on how you can reduce some of the calories in those recipes for other family members who maybe haven't lost weight and aren't trying to gain weight to eat. And conversely, in a lot of the other recipes throughout the book, we offer suggestions on how you can even up the calories in some of those, so that if somebody is experiencing unintentional weight loss, they have some ideas on how they might be able to add more calories to a salmon recipe that's in there, or another type of sandwich or a smoothie that's in there. So remind you, we're here answering your questions. Happy to answer any questions you have. And we'd also like to remember for you to submit your name and address for the free cookbook. This is a cookbook you'll definitely want to have. And honestly, I really do use these recipes in my house. I think you'll find that they're really, really tasty, easy to make, and that you'll like a lot of them. So our last question today. Now, this question is actually from a cancer survivor, saying, somebody undergoing treatment right now actually, saying, I'm going through treatment and I'm experiencing a fair amount of nausea, and asking, besides looking specifically at the recipes in the nausea chapter, what other advice do you have for somebody who's experiencing nausea? Lots of other information, and you'll also find this in the cookbook as well. A couple things to think about if you're feeling nauseous besides eating bland foods, relatively mild foods, are thinking about having smaller portion sizes. Sometimes just too much food can make you feel even more nauseous. And for a lot of people who are feeling nauseous, it's a great idea to eat smaller meals throughout the day just to keep some food in your stomach. That can really help. And sometimes it helps a lot of people to have fluids separate and apart from their meals. So maybe have a small meal, and an hour later or so, go ahead and have some fluids at that time. So we do have a couple more questions coming in. For some cancer patients, mobility is limited. How labor-intensive are the recipes? Not very, and that was one of the reasons why. Sometimes it's just hard to find the energy to make recipes, and so we wanted to make things very simple. And I'll tell you, Jeannie Besser, the co-author, actually writes a column in the Atlanta paper called the 5:30 Challenge, which is recipes that have very few ingredients, can happen very quickly, and so that really was a theme throughout this cookbook development process. Can this book be found in bookstores? How do you order them? Absolutely, the book can be found in bookstores, and you can also order them by either going to cancer.org or you can call our 800 number at 800-227-2345. Question, why is it so important to have a cookbook like this? I think there's a lot of different reasons why it's so important to have a cookbook like this. One of the main ones to me is that not everyone, again, experiences all these side effects, but when they do, those side effects are real. And it's really valuable to have a resource right there that they can go to if they're saying, my goodness, I'm just not feeling great today, or the medication I'm taking has really, made me taste things very differently. What are some recipes I can try to help deal with that? And so it's so important to have a resource like this right at your fingertips that packages it in such a way that is really helpful for a side effect that you're experiencing right then. So thanks so much for joining us. We had a great time. We appreciate all the questions. We hope you've sent in your name and address for a free cookbook. And don't forget to, if you have more questions, you can post some questions at Twitter at ACS News. Thanks a lot.